Good day, one and all. My name is Kathy, and welcome to this episode of the Scrap and Crafty Gardener. Today, I'm going to be making a fairly straightforward, simple card, but I'm going to be doing some embossing with an embossing folder. I did some die cutting, so I'm going to do some ink blending and a little bit of everything. So let me get started. Today, I've chosen a pink card. It could be any color pink. This I think I got from Joann Fabrics. This measures 10 inches by 7 inches. I scored it at the 5-inch line, folded it, and creased it in my bone folder. Now I picked a piece. This is just some patterned paper, and it's a pink gingham. And I cut a strip that's 2 inches wide. You only need it 7 inches long, but since I am terrible at getting the 7-inch cut and having it fit the length of my card, I'm just going to glue this down and then cut off the bottom. Okay, that's what I'm going to start with first. And I can get the top of the card lined up fairly straight. It's just, I'm just going to add a little bit at each end and then just trim it off. Flat on the card front. This one's not going to have layered layers. I'm just working straight on the card front. I'm going to get my large scissors and I'm just going to trim off. You could use your paper cutter if you want. I'm just using scissors. There. Now that fits in the front nicely. Okay. And I have a scrap I'll put in my scrap pile, or you can use it on the inside for a decoration, which I may do. Okay, and I'm going to do a vertical card today, or a portrait mode. And then I need a piece of white cardstock that is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. That's going to go on the inside. And I don't think I'm going to use my scrap on here, so I'm just going to glue this down. You really wouldn't need it with the pink since it's light enough to write on and people to still see your writing. But this just gives it a nice little finished look. And you could stamp something on in here if you wanted to. Now I have 2 pieces of white cardstock. I cut this out with a Waffle Flower A7 master set. You don't need it. Well, you might need it for the second part. But for the size, if you don't have it, I have 2 pieces of white that measure 3.5 by 5.5. And one of those is going to go on the front, and I am going to emboss that. And this is an old Darice embossing folder. In fact, my edge is curled up, so I'm not even sure it's going to work, but I'm going to give it a try. It looks like a cracked paint finish. So let me get that embossed first. Just taking one of these and embossing. And that'll fit in there nicely. Now for my Anna Griffin machine, for my embossing folder, I just need base plate, that, a metal shim, and this. And let's see if that'll go through. Okay, it went through despite having that curled up bent edge. I hate to throw away because it's a nice embossing folder. I'll have to research and see if I can find the name of this one. But it gives you, I like cracked paint. It's very pretty. That one's going to go down flat. But now I need to cut my second piece. And this is where you do need some sort of die that is smaller. I'm going to take this piece, and this is the one I cut out with the larger. But now I'm going to make a window here. I want to get this fairly straight. So I have, let's see if I have a piece of washi tape here that I can use once I get this in place. To tape it down so it doesn't move as much on me. Just trying to get my ends as even as possible. Now this particular die This measures 3 inches by 5 inches. And I'm that's just to hold it down. And now I'm going to run it through. Okay. Pick that up. All right, and that gives us a frame. It's not perfectly straight, but hey, it's going to work. And now I'm going to put that right on top of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it up. And this piece I'll save. That's a scrap I can use for something else. Done die cutting. I'm going to use, I have these 1/8 of an inch high, and they're not very wide. They're an 1/8 of an inch in height and in width. I'm just going to put this on the back because I want to pop this frame up. I've been seeing people make cards with a frame. I'm calling it a window frame, but it looks like a picture frame. I'm not sure what the technical name of it is. I'm just going to put these along the back and get this glued down. This is pretty much the longest part of making this card, is just making the window frame. Other than die cutting out the pieces parts that I used. That took a little bit of time. And I just need a small piece of this one. That should do it. All right, and I'll put these back on here. All right, now to get this lined up. This will be the trick. Now, if I get this frame a little crooked, that will be okay. All I need to do is trim the back piece because I only need what's really inside the frame to show. So if you have trouble getting things straight, don't worry about it too much. You can make do and make it look okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. There is absolutely nothing perfect in life with us humans. It's our little quirks and eccentric. Yeah, being eccentric is what makes us human. And that's not bad. I have a little bit of overhang here, if you can see. Just a little bit there. So all I'm going to do is just trim this down. I'm going to angle my scissors in underneath the frame. And sometimes it's the paper. When you emboss paper, it tends to spread out a little bit. And this I'm going to put on here, kind of like that. Maybe move it over a little bit. And now I want to stamp down here. Before I put this on, I'm going to pull out what I have already die cut out. I'm going to put some flowers and some greenery on here. And I use them. Let me get these pieces of paper up and in the bin. I'm using this flower set. This is from Spellbinders. And I honestly can't remember the name of it. And I did not write it down on my paper. This is one of my first purchases from Spellbinders. And let's see if I can find it. But I used this greenery. And this is from Spellbinders Enchanted Stitched Mushrooms. And I'm just using the greenery. And then I cut out 2 Hello dies from GinaK. I cut those out in black. I've cut 2 because this black paper is so thin that I glued 2 together. And this is something I've been wanting for a long time, but it was always out of stock. But I finally got it. Now for my stamp, I'm going to have the hello, but then I have this I've been thinking about you. And I want to put that down here in the bottom corner. And I don't, again, this is a stamp that I don't know where it came from. In my early days, I really didn't care. I just liked it and I bought it. But I didn't think it was important to record whose stamp it was or where I got it from. I have since learned my lesson, which if you're not doing videos, it really doesn't matter. But if you are, it might be something you want to think about, or if you're thinking of doing it in the future. So I want this to be down here, okay? Just down in that corner. And I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair Nocturne for that. It seems to be a little bit of gunk on this stamp, so I'm just going to clean it off and try that again and get it more in camera where you can see what I'm doing. That looks better. Right. Just going to stamp that down. And I'm going to do that one more time. Okay, got a little bit of ink overflow on the end, and I think I just should have taped my card down a little bit. I'm going to try my ink eraser. If not, I'll just put a little gem over it. Okay, clean off my stamp, and I'm done stamping. All right. Pardon me. And the folder, what did I do with the folder? Oh, I don't recall. Should be right there in front. Now my ink color. Do some ink blending. Okay, now this is a little dusty, so I'm just going to take a little bit of water, just squirt it and make sure it sticks, and then wipe it with my tidy towel. Pardon me. I swear one of these days I won't be coughing on camera. All right, now I have cut out one piece of the greenery, and then I have 5 layers of the flower that I cut out, and I want to ink blend on these. So for the greenery, I'm going to get that over with first. That's quick and easy. I've chosen jelly bean green and fresh asparagus. Just need my green brush and a scrap of paper here. Let's see. Just to get off anything, and I could have honestly used whatever was on my brush already. I'm going to start with the jelly bean green, and I'm just going to go a light coat over it. Now, if you had green paper in the color you wanted, you could have cut this out already in the colors of your choice. I'm trying to use up a ton of white scraps. Now I'm using fresh asparagus, and I'm just going to do the ends of the tips of the flower, or the tips of the leaves, just to add some contrast. And that's done with that. I'll set that back in my little tray up here so that I don't lose it. Now for these, I've chosen light, medium, and dark carnation. Okay, let's see this on my brush here. And I'm going to get light, and I'm just kind of going to go over the whole flower. And I'm pushing kind of hard because I think my light carnation isn't very inky. Okay. Now my medium carnation should be quite rich with ink. And I'm just going to kind of do the center. And I'm leaving parts white because I want a little bit of contrast here. And now I'm going to come in with a dark carnation, only I'm going to use, let's see, where's my little blending brushes here. Okay, this is just a GinaK blending brush. And I'm going to come in, start in the center with the dark and work my way out a little bit. But I really want to get that dark in the center. You can see it's so pale pink on the edges that on camera I'm seeing it look white, but it really isn't. And these are going to be stacked together. So the colors will complement each other once it's together. And I'm going to go a little further out on the big one. Okay. All right. Put these inks back. Had to pause there for a minute. All right. Now, put the brush back. Take these pieces off. Clean off my mat. Grip mats, cleverest invention there ever was. Here's and flip it off to the side. Okay, now I'm ready to put it together, but I'm going to clean off my mat over here. Tidy towel works for cleaning off most everything. All right, now I want to put this on the card, and I'm going to glue this down flat. I love this textured background. And I kind of want that, I'm thinking like that. All right, now the hello will come down here. And it's going to be raised up a little bit, so I need to figure out how to get that on there so that it looks good. But for my flower, I kind of want it to extend out of the picture frame a little bit. So I'm going to glue this down. So this, I'm going to glue the leaves down and then get the flower in there. Just have the leaf sticking up like that. Now for the flower, I've got, I'm going to use some Zots. Let's see, I've got, hard to tell which ones these are. Those are flat Zots. I don't really want the flat ones. I want the raised up ones. And I might not have any of those. I don't have any dimensional Zots, so I'm just going to take one of these big ones and put it down right at the end of the flower. Well, where the flower is going to start, end of the leaf. And that's going to pop up right there. And not to worry that you can see that center because it's going to be covered up. Now I can take my flat Zot and let's see, I don't want the large ones. I want the minuscule ones. That would be these ones. And what these are just glue dots. I'm going to glue dot that to the center here and rotate the petal. Now for these other ones, I am going to curl them up. You could use scissors. I'm just taking a palette knife and I'm curling them downward. And I'm going to use a tiny, let's see if this will be too big. Nope, that'll be perfect. I want to raise this one up. And I'm just using these dots I got from Hobby Lobby. You could use any that you have. And this one, I'm going to curl upwards. And it doesn't have to be anything major. I'm just curling it slightly. Like you would do curling ribbon when you do packages. Just making it little, 3 more dimensional. Now, if you don't have anything like this, if you've got a piece of foam and you have one of those little tools that are shaped like a ball for making clay, you can push that in there to rub it. This one's going to be flat. And I might, yeah, I think I'll move the hello up. Okay, and I have one more. I'm just leaving that as is. But I want to put, I'm just going to take whatever's left on my brush here, and I want this whole thing to be a little darker. That'll go right in the center. Again, I'm just using a flat dot. You could use glue. I just have these handy and like them for when I'm sticking things together like that. Now my hello, I do want to move it up. Okay. So let's see. Try to figure out how. I'm going to cut some very thin strips. I'm going to take one of these and cut them in half if I can. There, I have a very, very thin strip. So I want to put it behind the L curve. Yeah, that'll fit nicely. You could use the shadow dye on this. I didn't really want to. So if I put that there, I'm going to need a little piece right there. Not a very big piece, because this font is so delicate. Okay, and then another piece behind this. This is a little bit more complicated than I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking far enough ahead as to how I was going to get this hello attached. If I had done the card flat, that would have worked out nicely. Now I need a piece down here on this there. Okay, so that goes there like that, and that will come there. Just a little piece right there. And I think the rest I'm just going to glue as normal, and whatever sticks, sticks. It's okay if it stands up. So let's take these off, and then I'll add some glue all over it. These little tiny strips are difficult to work with. Oh, come on. All right, now get some glue. I'm just using art glitter glue. It's in a fine tip bottle. And I'm just putting it, and you can't see I'm working off camera. Just daubing it here and there. A lot of this won't touch any part of the card. It's just going to be kind of sticking up on its own. And that's okay. But I'm putting glue on it anyhow, just in case it hits something that it can adhere to. All right. Now, get this on there. Oh, don't tear. I put a little bit of glue right here. And a little bit down here. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to add on some rhinestones. I have this mix. These aren't hot melt. I think it was in a mixture of, oh, I'm just going to dump them on here. For shaker cards, but there were some pretty pink ones in here that I thought would look nice on this card. I'm going to put one there where the ink overflowed. And then I'm going to put one here, 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 and there. Now if I can find my glue dots. Okay, that is my card for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I can always encourage you to get your stuff out and play with it. It's just paper. Have fun, but enjoy the process. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.